Good afternoon, guys. How are we? Welcome to the live stream. I was just checking all my technology was working, and it is. I hope you're all well. Hope you're good. Hope you're having a good trading week. Trader Tom here, and I am a happy trader because Liverpool won 1-0 last night. All right, so that's the good news. There's also more good news. We've taken some profit off a trade that I'm going to share with you very shortly. And I'm also in another trade as well. So we're in two new trades today. I'm going to share those with you very shortly. I'm also in Euro Swiss franc from yesterday as well. So we'll take a look at them. We're also going to reveal the winner of the $5,000 funded challenge. So we're going to do that very shortly, guys. So all of you that entered, you're going to find out right now if you have won or not. And we're actually going to have two winners. And don't worry, guys, if you haven't entered this week, we'll do another one next week. So come join us on the live streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all week to be in with a chance. What else are we going to do? Yeah, we're also going to look at some other trades that I'm looking at, although the other trades I was looking at, guys, have sort of flown away, and they're mainly yen pairs, right? Unless we get a retrace on some of these yen pairs, not a lot we can do. But we'll take a look at them as well. And then, more important than life itself, we are going to take a look at all of your questions. So if it's maybe you need help with a trade, or you want to share a trade, or you want me to look at a currency pair or a commodity or an indice or literally any asset, I'm happy to do that, guys. But it can also be about strategy, psychology, money and risk management, right? So get all your questions over to me, and I will endeavor to answer all of them. Also, I keep saying also, there's so much in this live stream today. Also, really important to point out that there is a shitload of news coming out, right? So if we take a look at the economic calendar, guys, first and foremost, we've got the Canadian dollar interest rate. I am very much interested in this because I am in a Canadian dollar trade, and I'll show you which one. But also, guys, we've got the Fed, right? So we have got the Fed. They're quite important. So, yeah, you know, interest rate coming out of the US. We're expecting a rate cut. I don't think there's, you know, any secret there. And usually the interest rate decision comes out as expected, right? That's not normally what creates the volatility. But what will create the volatility, if we have a miss on that interest rate, obviously that will be big. But if it is as expected, it's always what's said in this press conference half an hour after the decision. So this is super important. And we was talking about this in the VIP, right? I was on a trading floor, right? And you literally have traders that are listening to the squawk, and they are listening for certain words, you know, dovish words or hawkish words, and they will be pressing the buy and sell button off of those very words, right? So that's why during the press conference, you see the markets do this. US dollar's doing this. It shoots off. It comes back down because you're literally got news traders trading on those words or certain words they're looking for. So yeah, interesting stuff. Lots of big news, guys, right? And those of you who don't know what a squawk is, it's basically a live feed, right? So you get them on most trading floors, you know, or all trading floors. And you also get a Bloomberg terminal, which is loaded with data as well. And it's just a live feed as it happens. Right. Obviously, it needs to be for you to trade it. All right. You know, you couldn't trade it. You know, I'm looking at investing.com. It normally comes out about a minute later. Right. Any news or anything. Right. So, yeah, there you go, guys. Right. Let's start with trades that I am in. Right. So let's start with a trade that we've taken some profit off. And it is pound New Zealand dollar sells. And I've been milking this baby. this cow. This is like a cash cow this week, right? So let's understand why we like pound New Zealand dollar sells, right? And again, guys, right, I showed you this the other day, but look, we're in a downtrend, right? We're starting to get lower highs, lower lows, right? We're in a downtrend. And then what I want to see in a downtrend is just these candles. Bearish, 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 bearish. So far bearish, right? So bearish, 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 and potentially this move, this room to move into back down to here, right? So the daily we like, quick look at the weekly, right? We're getting these huge bearish weekly candles at this level. And if just a quick look at the monthly, right? I don't trade the monthly, but you know, if you want another piece of confluence, this level's holding. And look at this selling pressure, right? And then once I've collated all of that information, I go down to H4 and enter, right? So that's how I roll. But I'm still collating information on the H4, right? So as you can see on the H4, I shared this trade with you yesterday, right? We broke down, started selling. I took some profit off here. I actually closed the remainder of the trade down here. So this trade has finished nicely in profit. But again, right, it never broke this level. And then we got a price whipped back up. I just started selling again in here. Stops up here. Actually, my stop was up here, right? But I've just moved my stop loss down. Why is that? Because once price got to this level, I closed 70% of the trade, right? I've closed 70% of the trade. I've reduced my risk. My stop loss was here. I've now moved it down to here. And yeah, that's where we are so far with this trade. So I can only win with this trade. What I'd be looking to do is add to it. And the two ways I would add to it would be this, right? We either get a break and a retest. That would be ideal because, you know, that's what we want to see. We want to see this level broken, right? Or, you know, it's become a bit of a range on the H4, or even we get a retest up here, you know, and we can start selling in here again back down to here. All right, so we shall see. And obviously, you know, the Fed later on is, you know, US dollar dominant, right? That, you know, the main currency that's going to be affected is US dollar, but the Fed, you know, more so than any other central bank, right, can affect all currency pairs, right? So, you know, it's good that I've taken some profit off. I can sort of, you know, be carefree about this trade, right? I can only win with this trade. Let's see what happens. So that is pound New Zealand dollar, guys. And I'm also in pound Canadian dollar. And please remember, guys, if you want all of my trades, come join the Discord channel, right? The link is in the description. We've got a great trading community. So come join it. I just love it. Everyone's sharing knowledge and ideas and trade ideas, right? It's the reason we created the Discord. And it's, you know, it's really good to see that people are using it for that reason. And yeah, it's good. Right, before I show you my next trade, pound Canadian dollar, let's say hello to a few people because right, Max, how are you, Max? Not late. There will be no detention, Max, today. And Max, like I say, he's always sharing his trades on in the Discord, guys. So Max always has some great trades. Nero, hi. Luigi, hi. Luigi, are you an Inter Milan fan? If you are, Liverpool beat you 1-0. I can't remember what's your Italian team. Nicholas, how are you? Nicholas, I've seen you lively in the Discord as well, so that's great. Nero's got a question about women. Do not ask me. I have no idea, right? Niraj, hi. Nicholas. Okay, Nicholas, great. Nicholas was in pound New Zealand sales as well, so good stuff, Nicholas. Good to see. Neil, hi. Luigi is AC Milan, which are top of Serie A. currently, I believe. So yeah, can't say too much. So you're happy we beat Inter. They're your arch enemy. And Lee, hi. How is everyone? Right, so yeah, I just wanted to say hello. On to my next trade, right? And it is pound Canadian dollar, right? So again, daily chart, right? We was in this kind of uptrend range, and we thought, right, we've broke, we're off to the races, stopped here, and then just went kapow, right? And we broke these lows in here. So we get with that candle right there, we're actually getting lower lows. So for me, we are now in a downtrend. Okay. Now, also, guys, like I say, I'm looking for bearish candles, and we got this huge bearish daily candle form yesterday, and it's bouncing off our smart river, right? And this is part of our price action pro indicator, right? People getting great results with it. Now, you can see we've got all this space potentially all the way back down into here and all of these lows in here, right? And that's my target. And so it should be, right? You know, if you're looking to sell, your target should be the next support. If you're looking to buy, your target should be the next resistance. Anything beyond that is not unachievable. But my point is, why not take some profit at these support and resistance levels? See what happens at that level. You can always get back into the trade, right? But anyway, pound Canadian dollar sells, right? If we look at the H4, I'm just looking to sell it, right? We're in this H4 downtrend, and we're basically here, guys, right? I started selling in at this resistance level, right? It proved to be resistance before. Sorry, it was support before, so potentially good resistance. I started selling. One of the reasons I started selling as well was because I can put my stop loss well above this high, and I still have enough room for my 1:1, right? And back down to this 1.8350 level. So I like the level. It gave me lots of room with my stop loss, and my risk to reward is still there as well. I've just seen a comment out the side of my eye. Lee was hoping that I'd answer Nero's question about women. I daren't. I don't know enough. Right. Stop distracting me, guys. I'm easily distracted. Unlike a woman. Very focused, good multitaskers. Anyway, so yeah, I'm in this trade right now. The thing is, we got news coming out in about an hour and a half. So I've got some decisions to make, right? And it's a big piece of news. Again, if we go back to the news, right, it's Canadian dollar, right? So we've got about an hour and a half until the news comes out. Again, typically it comes out as forecasted. And more importantly is the press conference, right? 30 minutes later. So these, you know, I'm aware of all this, and what I'm going to do is the following, right? Now, if for example, you know, we've got an hour and a half, price could basically come down and hit this low, right? What I'd probably do is just take, you know, maybe 50% of the trade off, and then move this stop down all the way to here, right? And I pretty much couldn't lose, right? It'd just be a win-win trade. Either comes up, hits me out at break even, or it comes flying down. I can't lose if that scenario happened. If price is where it is now, I will tighten my stop loss, right? Not too tight, because you're going to get a bit of slippage and stuff like that. But I might halve my risk to 0.5, right? Or I just get out of the trade, right? I'm going to see where price is, right? If I'm a little bit in profit, I might just get out of the trade, right? But I like the trade from a technical point of view. right? And interest rates normally come out as expected, but you are gambling, right? So these are my options when it comes to this trade. Now, let's say we found ourselves in the next hour where we get a big bullish H1 candle. This is the H4, but let's just imagine we're here. Then I've got, almost nothing to lose, right? I would probably just stay in the trade and see how news plays out. All right, so yeah, that's what I'll be looking at in about an hour and a half, all right, or before it comes out. Okay, so yeah, there you go, guys. Those are the pound trades. I'm also in Euro Swiss franc still. Yeah, I still like it from a daily point of view. Right, we're still very bullish. Yeah, you can see that, super bullish. When I got into this, and room to move into to the next resistance level. And when I got into this trade, if we zoom into the daily candle, when I got into this trade, the daily candle was that. Now, a day later, the daily candle is this. Now that, it doesn't feel not, what's the right word? I'm less confident in the trade playing out today, right? But if you look at my stop losses, right, there's still plenty of this room to, even come back all the way back down to here and still make a move up, right? So my stop loss is allowing a lot of room for error, right? And I've hit it in a place where it makes sense. The other thing to consider is this is an inside candle. This candle is completely within this candle, right? And typically that means that buyers are in control. So the candle that is doing the covering of the other candle is typically the dominant force, right? And in this case, buying pressure. And also what you'll find with a lot of inside candles is this low gets broken. And then if price closes back into that low, even if we get a doji like that, that normally means we come back to the highs of these candles, right? I mean, this is all very textbook-esque, right? And, obviously in reality, it's not always the same, but, that's very the textbook answer of inside candles. But yeah, what I'm more interested in, guys, really is this. For me, we are holding on to our smart river. Right, so you can see we're kind of here. Right, this was the last resistance level. If we come across, it's support. Right, and we're kind of holding on to this support. You can see this candle, is holding on, right? So you can see my alarm in here. If I start seeing a big bearish candle and a break of that level, I might just close this trade early, right? At 0.4, 0.5%, right? But if I start seeing bullish candles, then obviously no need to. We just carry on with the trade. So this is important to me today. Now, one thing I do need to be aware of here is the FOMC, right? Because Swiss franc is a flight to safety, and what the Fed says is going to potentially really affect indices. So if we start seeing a sell-off in indices, Swiss franc could become strong, and I don't want that, right? If we start seeing indices fly up, flight to safeties could become weaker. So the Fed interest rate will have an impact, potentially on Euro Swiss franc. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this trade, but obviously Fed is, a fair few hours later. Right, what else are we looking at? Yeah, exactly. Right, Brian wants to know what I'm looking at with gold. Gold is just ranging, won't touch it, but we'll take a look at it. Well, especially with the Fed coming out as well. Yeah, and as Max says here, gold, it's pinned against the dollar, and you've got the Fed, interest rate decision. Gold could literally do anything, and it's a flight to safety. There's so many permutations with gold, right? But just quickly, it's just in this range, right? If we look at the daily chart, this, right? We spoke about this actually. I actually called this, guys. I'm not one for blowing my own trumpet, but I said, look, if you find a resistance level, right, and you're in a daily uptrend, and there's a daily support level, what you'll typically find is that, right, it just doesn't go anywhere. So when a market is like that, I do not want to touch it. There's no one in control of that market. If you look at that market and I say, guys, who's in control of that market? Right? You'd be like, sellers, buyers. There's an argument for both. So not interested. But on the back of this Fed, I really like trading this situation when you get a break either side, right? You could get a break to the upside. Let's take it back up to these highs. Right, you could get a break to the downside. Let's take it back down to the next support. So that's how I will be trading gold. Hi, Sluggy FX. Hi. Guys, can I please ask everyone, if you're enjoying the analysis, please subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. If you haven't already, guys, please come join our free Discord channel, right? We've got a trading community. I give you my trade ideas in there. Why not come and join it? Also, guys, check out the website, www.simply-forex.com. If you want access to all of our premium trading education, check it out. There's something in there for you. And finally, guys, if you sign up with Pepperstone, our preferred broker, using our link, we will give you free access to the VIP, and we'll give you a free Essential Trading View subscription. All right, it's a no-brainer. Go check out that promo. Right, guys, any other questions that we're looking at today? Anyone looking at any other pairs at all? Please get your questions over to me. Nero, I apologize, I couldn't help you with the answer about women, but I like the question. Let's just take a quick look at pound New Zealand dollar. We're in this trade. Let's see what this is doing. And guys, please get your questions over to us. All right, so not much movement, guys. Just waiting for the New York market to open. Let's have a look at pound Canadian dollar. Okay, not much happening there. Right, Sluggy FX would like to take a look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Let's do that. Before we look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar, let's take a quick look at the dollar index, all right, because this is important. Now, if I show you the weekly, right, first of all, we have got this big psychological level, right? This 100 psychological level on the dollar, right? Look, the chart's telling you that is huge support and resistance, right? Of course, such a massive level. And what we're seeing here is a weekly uptrend, right? Kind of just keeps ramming into it, but not breaking it. These lows in here are also holding. So we're in a weekly uptrend that cannot break this 100 level, right? So, is there room for the dollar to come back up and test again? Obviously, a lot of this is going to be subject to what the Fed does today, right? But from a technical level, if we're in an uptrend and we're in an uptrend stroke range, it makes sense that we can come from the bottom of the range back to the top of the range. Now, I wanted to show you the weekly first because this looks like a buy trade, right? All day. But if I showed you the daily chart, right, we had a break of that level, interestingly, right? We was in this daily uptrend stroke range, and then we actually broke these lows with this candle here. So interestingly, daily broke that level, weekly didn't. So that just adds more confusion to the dollar at the moment, in my opinion, right? From a technical standpoint, right? But the weekly and all of these bullish candles are telling me potentially we can come back up to here. So dollar is just tricky at the moment, and you'll see on my trade ideas, guys, right, that I give you every day. Let me just show you those quickly. So this is the Discord, guys. These are my pound trades that I showed you earlier. Taken some profit off of pound New Zealand dollar, but also in here, guys, every day I give you all of my trade ideas, right? So Tom's daily trades, right? And you'll see there's not many US dollar pairs in here. You've got US dollar yen because of yen weakness, right? But as you can see here, yen pairs may have left without us, right? And we're just not getting a lot of, there's no US dollar pairs in there other than US dollar yen, right? So that sort of gives you an idea of what I'm thinking about with US dollar. This is the most longest way I've ever gone around to explaining New Zealand dollar, US dollar, right? But it's important that we understand the dollar index, right? Now, if we start with the daily on New Zealand dollar, US dollar, right? We are in an uptrend, right? You could even include this here, right? We are in an uptrend, right? We are. Okay, as soon as we broke this last higher low here. So we're in an uptrend, but do you really want to start buying into this last high here? Right? And, and this psychological 0.58 thousand level. And the answer is no. There's no value. There's no room there. And just look at the candles. The dollar doesn't know what to do with itself. Bullish top wick. Indecision, bullish top wick, right? Those candles tell us that the dollar direction is not clear, right? And if we go to the weekly, we're actually in a downtrend, right? You can see here we're in this downtrend, and we're back at these weekly highs in here. So I definitely don't want to buy New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Right? I just don't, for those reasons. If anything, this would be a good selling area, right, on the weekly. So I'm going to see what happens in and around this area, right? Obviously, we've got the Fed today as well, but I'm more interested in selling, right? Now, if we go to the day chart, what would I need to see for me to start selling? So, in an ideal situation, maybe price does come up, just touches into this level. If uses this last high as support, we get a bit of sideways action like we've been getting with gold because there's some indecision, and then we get a breakdown. I would be very much interested in selling New Zealand dollar, US dollar then. Right now, not interested. I mean, if you said, Tom, you have to trade it, otherwise we will pull your toenails out, then it's probably got a little bit further to go up into this level in here, right? But I'm not interested, right? I just want to see what happens in here and if price starts breaking down. And obviously, guys, with the Fed, you could end up seeing a candle like that. You could end up seeing a candle like that. So let's see what the Fed has to say here. It's going to override any technical level. So yeah, there you go. Okay, Sluggy FX saying on the pullback of New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So if we got this situation back to this high, we saw some bullishness in here. Could we take it back up to here? Yeah, okay. Let's have a look at H4. Yeah, you can sort of see the indecision here a bit, right? We're just ranging really. Yeah. And even if we broke that, there's no room, right? You're straight into resistance. So yeah, just not interested in buys with New Zealand US dollar. If we keep getting this range and then we get a breakdown, I'm interested in selling because of that weekly level. So there you go. Hope that helps. Right, what else are we looking at? Yes, Cephas, thank you for reminding me. Cephas has just said, who is the winner of yesterday's $5,000 challenge? Cephas, I'm glad you reminded me. I've got so caught up in the charts, chatting away as usual. Let's find out who the winner is. So, this is where I feel like a game show host, right? So I've put everyone who entered, basically joined the Discord and answered a question in the Discord, right? So these are all the names of everyone who entered yesterday. So Cephas, you can see your name in there. There you go. So let's do it. Let's find out who is the winner of the $5,000 funded challenge, courtesy of Blueberry Funded. Suspense is killing me. Let's do it. Poleng, you are the winner of the first $5,000 funded challenge. So Poleng, please come and DM me in the free Discord and we will give you your funded challenge. But we're not going to stop there, guys. We're going to have one more winner. Okay, so let's spin the wheel again. I really do feel like a game show host. I'm going to wear... Lee, you're meant to be getting me that silver suit with a dicky bow. Right, let's see who the second winner is. If it's Poleng again, it does feel like slightly like a fix. Nero, you are the winner of the second $5,000 funded challenge. So Poleng and Nero, please get in contact with us. DM me in the free Discord and we will give you your prizes. Yeah, so there you go, Cephas. Thank you for reminding me. And guys, as always, please don't forget to join me for the live streams. Each week, we're going to give a $5,000 funded challenge to one of our viewers and subscribers. And also, we'll do what we do every week and analyze the charts and show you my live trades. So subscribe, guys. Hit the notification bell. What else are we looking at? Okay, so... Gibbonization. Hi, Tom. How many trades per day is best? Also, commodity stocks or Forex or indices best for passing funded challenges? Okay, so Gibbonization is asking how many trades a day is best, right? And what is best to trade to pass a funded challenge? So let's answer the first question. How many trades a day? So that is basically, you know, how long is a bit of string. Now, I have done everything, right? Okay, I'm not sure what's happening on TikTok. I believe we've lost TikTok. Yeah, so I've scalped the 5-minute chart, right? I've got the gray hair to prove it. And obviously that's going to give me a lot of trades a day. Yeah, I was getting between 5 to 10 trades a day. Yeah, about that, right? Scalping. And then I've also gone completely the other way, and I was kind of swing trading using the daily chart, right? And that was giving me, let's say, 2 or 3 trades a week, right? Because I look at, 28 currency pairs. And neither of those suited me, right? So I ended up where I am now, basically using the daily for direction, but entering on the H4 to get better entries and, tighter stop losses, if you like. So that suited me. Now, It's irrelevant how many trades you get each day. What's important is that you get something that suits you, right? Scalping didn't suit me, too intense, got grey hair, right? Swing trading didn't suit me. It was not enough trades, too slow for me, really, right? And now I've, ended up with where I am now. And I probably get a little bit over a trade a day, right, on average. So that's the important thing, right? So how many trades a day is best is really dependent on the individual. And you've got to match your personality with it, right? If you're a little bit impatient, maybe scalping is better for you, right? Or think about your lifestyle, right? If you've got a 9-to-5 job, you probably couldn't scalp the 5-minute chart, right? You can't be going, excuse me, boss, just going to spend an hour in the toilet scalping. They'll be like, what is scalping? What is, let's sack this weirdo. So that's my point about how many trades. Find something that suits you and your lifestyle and your personality. And then when it comes to stocks, Forex, or indices, again, the way I trade price action, I can apply it to any asset, commodities, Forex, or indices. So, yeah, again, I went with Forex. So the thing with stocks is, right, I'm only interested in buying stocks, right? Stocks to me can only go one way, and that's short term and long term, right? I'm sure there are stock traders that do sell stocks, right? But generally speaking, the job of a board is to increase stock price. So you've got everyone within a company, right, wanting to increase the stock price, right? So I've only ever been interested in buying stocks, never sold stocks, if you think of it from an intraday point of view, right? Indices, you can trade them. Futures, and Forex, I ended up with Forex because it's open 24/7. There's lots of liquidity in the market, and you can trade it pretty much anywhere at any time during the day, anywhere in the world, because it's so liquid and there's so much volume of traders. And that's why I ended up trading Forex, really. So, I don't think the asset is that important. Stocks I would dismiss, but, Forex, indices, futures are all fine if you want to pass a funded challenge or, have a good, robust trading strategy. The one thing I would say about a funded challenge is, I've never done them, guys, right? They were not really about when I first started trading, right? So I've always traded my own money. But you probably need, you just need to keep, such tight control of your money and risk management because there's such tight parameters to the trades. But you should do that anyway. So I don't see the confusion when people say, oh, the parameters of the funded challenge are, quite restrictive. Per trade, they're not, right? So let's say the daily drawdown is 4%. In terms of an individual trade, let's say you risk 1% or even 2%, it's not prohibiting. It's when you're still in that trade, right, in perhaps a day's time, and you see another couple of trades that you want to enter, but you can't because you can't go over that 4%, because accumulatively you'll have too much risk and they'll close down your challenge, right? That's how I understand it. So you probably want a strategy that has quite a good risk to reward, really, because you can't be in a lot of trades at once. What you want to do, Gibbonization, is come join our free Discord, right? Because we've got a lot of guys in there who are trading funded challenges, and they can really drill down specifically their experiences because they're actually trading it. So come ask that question in our free Discord. Right, what else are we looking at? Okay, I like this question. Tom, do you think it's a good skill to learn how to trade sideways markets, bearing in mind markets only trend for 35% of the time? Yes, but, right, what was a pair that we looked at earlier? What was we looking at earlier? There was literally, bear with me 1 second. What did we look at earlier, guys? It's a perfect example. So let me just find an example. Oh, that was a really good example earlier. What was it? Was it pound New Zealand dollar? No. Oh, what was the trade, guys? I've got a perfect example of this. Okay, let's have a look at gold because that's ranging, right? So yes, the market ranges a lot, right? There was a better example of this, but let's use this as an example. Now, this market is ranging, right? And Lee's right? The market ranges a lot of the time because the market gets to a point where it's hitting a resistance level and it's in an uptrend, or we're in a downtrend and we're hitting a support level, and price just does that. It doesn't know what to do with itself at that level. And this is what we're seeing with gold, right? We're in this uptrend, but it's got to this level. So you've got these daily buyers, but you've got this daily resistance level, and you've got sellers at that level. So that's why the market ranges a lot, because you get into this situation a lot, right? Now, they're not all created equal, because if I'm in a daily uptrend, right? It makes more sense for me, because we're in this uptrend, to come from the bottom of the range back to the top of the range, right? I'm less interested in selling the top of the range back to the bottom because we're in this daily uptrend. So yes, trade the range, but as long as you're with the larger trend. All right. So that's what I would say with trading ranges, right? Now, as explained, this range, I'm only interested in buying the bottom of the range because we're in an uptrend. And if we was in a downtrend, let's find you won't find a downtrend on gold. Let's find something here. I can't find a good example. We had a good example earlier, but you get the idea, guys, right? If we was in a downtrend and then we started ranging, right? I'm not interested in buying from here to here because we're in a downtrend, but I am interested in selling from here to here, right? So that's how you should trade a range. Right, what else are we looking at? But good question, Lee. I like that question. Gold Spandau Ballet, yes. Eugene, hi Eugene, how are you? Okay, so what else are we looking at? Yeah, exactly. Slug ESF says, boss will look funny if I told him to take a bathroom break for 1 hour for scalping. Yeah. I kid you not. I wasn't scalping then, but I used to, let's say, go to the toilet a lot when I had a corporate job, right? And I'll be like, right, the H4 candle's coming up, or, I've got an alarm go off because it's hit a certain level. And I'll be like, right, I've got to go to the toilet. They're like, that Tom's a bit regular. It's not a very good employee for that reason. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, guys. So I think we've answered most of the questions there. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and smash the like button. Also, guys, please don't forget to join me same time again tomorrow, 12 p.m. GMT, and we'll do it all again, guys. I'll show you my trades, analyze the markets. Let's do it. All right. So, yeah, see you then, guys. Have a great trading day.